Welcome to the Isle Chat podcast with me, Beth,
Josh,
and Ryan.
This podcast is all about exploring the big questions, the small moments, and everything in between.
Whether you're stuck at the shops, in traffic, or just looking for some inspiration, our chat is here to keep you engaged.
It's time to talk, connect, and find meaning in those everyday moments.
Welcome to the Isle Chat.
Episode 27, I believe. Thank you again for tuning in. Today on the couch, we've got our good friend Beth.
Beth has just been slurping a drink.
Slurping away.
Thinking I was getting away with it, but not realising the mic was right there.
Not realising it was going to come right at her. And obviously I've got our mate Josh in the corner. He's on producer duties today. And yeah, it's just a casual one today, guys. Not serious. Just us three. How are yous?
Us four.
Us four, sorry.
We've got Jonah hiding down here. I don't know if
As Effie likes to say, baby Jonah. That's how she says it. That pitch, that level.
I said this to Ryan before, I think he will, when people like get a nickname, he will
Baby
always
Jonah.
be called Baby Jonah.
Yeah.
Even when you have your other two kids after it, we still like, Baby Jonah, me uncle Baby Jonah.
It does stick though. Like,
It does stick. I think it goes really well as well.
yeah, I've got a cousin called Keith, but we call him Little Keith, and he's like
Oh, yeah.
much bigger than me.
Yeah.
Like he's just
Sticks,
not
that.
little anymore.
Not to be horrible.
Shout out to Keith, by the way.
Keep them shout outs going.
Stay
I was actually
little.
going to say though, it's one of them names, isn't it, Keith, where it's just like a dying breed. Like no one gets called Keith anymore, do they? Sorry, Keith. Back to the wedding podcast.
Yeah. Anyway.
I've actually been doing a little bit of research on like what's been going on in the wedding world.
Oh.
And I don't want to start the podcast off on a bit of a sad note.
But here you go.
Here's the but. I actually seen a story in a newspaper, and it was a heartbreaking moment of a bride and groom as they walk into their wedding reception and nobody's turned up.
Oh.
Isn't that horrible?
When you say nobody's turned up, do you mean like just none of the guests have arrived or?
Do you think were they at the
I know, only because, no,
Was
I
it
know
the
that
right
sounds like a
date?
stupid question, but what I mean by that is like, were they late? Were they at a different place? Or is this like a baiting story from the papers to try and like get everyone's attention, but really they were sitting next door as a joke on the couple?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to ask these questions these days.
Well, when I read the story, from what I'm gathering, the couple are a little bit older, so they're probably already settled in their life. And I think they've both walked into the wedding reception, like ceremony in our country. So it's obviously in a foreign country, you know, America or whatever. And as they've walked in, 5 people are in there, just to be precise. So they have got witnesses, you know what I mean?
That's bang on that.
But it was
money.
Well, yeah, I don't know whether they spent a fortune or not, but it was just a viral clip that went viral, clearly, because it's made the newspaper.
My God, it's one of those viral clips that go viral.
And I thought I'd share it and just try and...
I can imagine that.
Well,
You see it sometimes, don't you, where people like turn up late and that. I actually, on the wedding that we did just a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you noticed it, but I noticed a guest turning up
Little stragglers coming
very
in.
late, and I mean
Yeah.
the vows had already started
I
going.
wouldn't come in. I really wouldn't
You
come
wouldn't,
in.
would you?
I'd just wait outside and be like, oh, that was so lovely. I was sort of tearing up the whole way
Couldn't
through it.
believe when he said that
Gorgeous.
to you.
When he put that ring on your finger, it was just gone.
Yeah.
Oh, in my head, it was a celebrant wedding, so it was a lot more laid back anyway. So you're making out like it was a church where
No.
Shrek when the doors like open, it's like, I object. It wasn't like that. It
No,
was
I know.
just, bear in mind, it was at Knowsley Hall as well. Shout out Knowsley Hall. And
I thought you meant the viral clip. Then I was like, wait, what?
I know we are jumping very quickly here, aren't we? Little car screech
Wait
there. Oh, what's going on? Oh, there he is.
I just didn't like the way it was
Why is
hovering
dangling?
around by your
But
arms.
it was at Knowsley Hall, and Ryan even took his shoes off because when you move in that room in Knowsley Hall, shout out Knowsley Hall for
Did
this.
you have that? I noticed you were flying around though without making any. I mean, obviously you were creaking the floorboards, but mine were like, you know
Them
them,
ballet dancing lessons didn't come
do you
in
know
handy.
them sketch pads that you used to get with the Velcro with the ball, and it goes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what my shoes were like, because they're perfectly flat. Them New Balance, so they don't have any. They're all suction.
Little shout out for me about
So yeah,
it.
I actually did take my shoes off and walk around the hall. No one pulled me up on it. So
Jordan ceremony.
Jordan ceremony, yeah.
little bit of a smell.
I just thought, it's
Just like
celebrant.
sweat patches behind
all-
him on the floor.
It's all hippy dippy. I'm just getting on their level, bro.
fair do. I don't even know where I was going with that. How do we jump from that? Where do we even start then? Was it still on that wedding when no one turned up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So someone did turn up.
Segued to our own.
Segued into our own. But going back to that of no one turning up, how would you feel, Beth, if sort of me and you done like a surprise birthday party where people,
I
Jonas
love
just...
the way it's not even close to a wedding. A
Yeah.
surprise birthday
birthday
party.
party.
No,
Get
but
that
you
idea.
didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish. People do surprise birthday parties now, and it's actually their wedding. So what if we did that and no one turned up?
I would be devastated. I feel like because when you throw a party, you're so anxious about the party, and then on the day you can guarantee that at least 20 plus people will text you and cancel.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing worse. And then all day you're worried thinking, are people going to turn up? Are people going to turn up? So
Am I going to fill this room?
yeah,
Da-da-da.
I would be devastated. I would be devastated. But then I think I'd be like, well, you know what? Like,
It's a funny one, isn't it?
Try and
'Cause
flip it on its head.
not to rewind back, because I think everyone hates rewinding back to this time. But do you remember in COVID where you were only allowed like 5 guests, 8 guests at one point, and like it didn't matter then. I think it's more the thought of the planning that you've done for those extra people that didn't show. That's the annoying part, because in reality you're still getting married to the person that is there, and you've got witnesses. So
but then also it's like, unless it's like an emergency, like you've had, especially with a wedding, how many months, if not years, have you been given the save the date? Like you've had so long to plan babysitters or work or whatever it may be. Unless it's emergency, I feel like to let someone down on the day is just
I think
so
anyone
cruel.
that texts you on that Wednesday, unless it's like a life or death situation,
Yeah.
they were never coming.
Yeah.
And it's just really sad, isn't it? Because you hear it, like obviously we hear it when we're in the rooms and they're getting ready in the morning, and you'll see like one of the bridesmaids goes to, oh, did you see such and such isn't coming, or he's coming but his girlfriend's not, or whatever like that, and you just think, couldn't you just told them? Would have saved them the 60 to £100 of a guest that they didn't have to pay for.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
know someone who I am name drop,
Anonymous.
but I know someone who got married, and basically the groom's sister on the day texted and said, "Look, I'm not coming to the wedding. I've got no money." Which I feel like 9 times out of 10 you've got quite a
Do you know that person is as well?
50% of it's
No
a free
comment.
bar half the day because you've got your drinks on the table. You're welcome.
You're gonna at
to
least
drink.
one drink, aren't you?
And you don't have to spend money really. You
No.
can just have soft drinks or whatever.
Just be there for the occasion.
Yeah, but then obviously the bride and groom had already paid per head for the foods on the table.
That's bad,
So
that.
they were like, who can we ask? Who's coming on
Oh,
the
did you
night
just
time
replace her?
that won't be offended? So thankfully they did get someone to replace them. But I just thought, otherwise it was like £200 worth of money just gone to waste
Yeah, that's bad.
by your own flesh and blood.
Oh,
Not after that.
flesh and blood.
You're dead to me. You're dead to me.
I was actually going to say about the whole splitting up thing, because you mentioned it when people split up, and that's the reason why they can't come. But we had Beth.
I'm trying to move
She's
away.
like drinking this coffee, and it's just like
It's not me, it's like the way it's filtering through the
Yeah,
glass.
yeah.
I feel sorry for like the people who don't watch it and they're just listening. They just
Can
keep
I get a
hearing, like,
straw, please? What's that off?
Wolf Wall Street, Beth. Seriously,
I've done that one on purpose. I'm really finished.
It's right, girl.
I'll have a little sip. No, I'm joking.
Not sponsored by Starbucks, by the way.
About splitting up, and basically, obviously, I don't think that people will mind me saying this. We actually shot the wedding. I don't think. I'm reiterating what I'm saying. They won't mind it. I know it's like people they were dead laid back and sound, so they're not. I don't think they'd be like pretentious.
You dig
over
it. Come on.
I know.
Get to the point.
Basically, the brother of the groom was seeing a girl for a very long time. They split up. She was initially asked to be a bridesmaid. So she got revoked of being a bridesmaid because clearly it wouldn't be fair if she was in all the photos. They're not together anymore, but she was still invited, and she was still a vital part of the day. I would say, because she was in part of the morning, and like she was still in the mix, wasn't she, Beth? Do you remember this wedding?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that, I just wanted to put that
She
out
must
there.
have been a friend.
I genuinely don't think she was before they were together. That's the impression that I got. Because if it was a friend,
But then I feel like if it wasn't a friend, then like, why would you go? Do you know what I
Like
mean?
yourself,
Like if that
if
was
you
me and I
presume.
was here and I just split up with the brother, I would not want to go.
because you're confronting all the family as well as
It's just
him.
a very awkward situation, unless that was my best friend, one of my really good friends,
You'd have
getting
to.
married, the bride. Because it is awkward.
God, all these dramas.
I know.
I don't think I've got anything like that. Anything juicy.
But back to like stories. I've got another one for us.
Oh.
It's my last one. I feel
You've
like
really done your own work, haven't you?
I'm
This
doing
week?
news night. News night
Have you
this
seen
week.
him this week when he says in these papers?
No.
Papers? What papers are you buying, by the way?
No comment.
When you go to the office,
Definitely.
I've just took the dog for a walk, put a bet on, and I got the paper.
I haven't got a dog. I don't go to bookies, and I don't buy newspapers. I just done my research before. Obviously, we've done the pod. I just wanted to bring some like stories that are
Some pizzazz.
some stories that are hitting, the world. So the story is bride, and I think this is going a bit viral these days. I think a lot of people are starting to go down this road of asking the wedding guest to vote whether the bride takes the groom's name.
I have never heard of that.
I have never heard of that either, but I was actually thinking about when they
Taking
take the
your name.
surname.
Well,
Be asked with that.
if you're going to be called
I'm over that
anything,
now.
what?
I'm over that.
Double barrel. Loads of people go for the double barrel, don't they?
My cousin did that,
I think it's a personality thing.
but I think it's a bit like, I think you're being too political with it, and I'm going to put it out there, even though she doesn't listen. I think it's.
I do think it's a
political.
nice tradition to take the
To
man's
take the name.
name.
So of
Yeah.
course it is.
I do think it's a nice
Or the
tradition.
woman's name, doesn't matter what sex
Or
it
the-
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
or the woman's
I
name.
definitely think you should take the name that you're happy to take. Whoever feels comfortable
Yeah,
taking it.
but then what about celebrities? Because most celebrities
Known
get
by,
married
yeah.
and do not change the name.
That's very true.
I was going to say, depending on profession, being one of the reasons not changing your name, I can get it because your cousin did the same. Best cousin.
Yeah.
She got married, and because of her profession, and she was well known in her industry, she kept the
She didn't
name.
want my surname.
No, she did. She kept
Say
it.
no more.
She kept it, didn't she?
No.
I mean,
Who
not
knows?
to like,
But on about and
not to go in, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Right.
Yeah.
Your
I've got it all
surname's a
mixed
bit
up.
of a.
I know.
Go
to-
on.
no, I'm just saying, like, as a young girl working her way up through school,
Yeah. I think she's lucky
Yeah,
that she
valid.
went to an all-girls school, because I think if she was going to a mixed school...
Oh no, I did get it. I did get
like,
it all.
me being a tit that I used to be in school, I would have played on that name.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, changing it as quick as possible probably would have.
Well, I would love to, but what can we do?
Didn't say that. Set you up.
Oh, God. Anyway, going back to that little story, how would you feel about captioning a wedding when something like that's taking place? Would you feel uncomfortable, or do you...
I'd ask if I could vote.
Seriously? Would you want to put your vote on it?
Yeah.
What would your vote be?
Take the name so they've got the same name.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. I think it's nice to get married and have the same family name. Whoever's name they decide to
I
choose.
think it is. There's a tradition to it, isn't it? Usually the girl takes the lad's name. That's normally how it works. But obviously we've come a bit more modern day now, aren't we? And like lads get married to lads, girls get married to girls, and all other genders that don't have to be named. Let's just call it that. But like, I think that's when it gets a bit like, whose do we take? Because this is like a choice now. If I was say I'm a girl and I'm getting married to a lad, but I'm actually getting married to a girl this time, it's like, well, who do you want to take? Does it then just come down to like what sounds better?
I think so. Because, for example, Josh's mate, his surname is Tamborini Brown.
Yes, I'll change that.
That's his name. And she said the girl, like, if they would ever get married.
Tamborini Brown.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm
Sounds
going to stick up for him.
Sounds like a car colour. Tamborini Brown.
You know what? That's a good shout, that. I'm going to stick up for him. Basically, it's sticking up for him, but it's not. His mum,
Just painting the picture.
taking the picture. His mum and dad. His mum's called Tamborini. His dad called Brown.
Either one of them on their own, perfect. Sorry, I'm not laying into this person here. I just think it's just dead odd.
I half agree, you know what I mean? It's a long one.
The girl basically said though, if we get married, like I don't want your name, I want my surname because it's a lot shorter. And then she's like, imagine if we have kids, our poor kids in school trying to spell the surname.
Yeah, but he's had to do it, and I genuinely think, and I'm going to name it
obviously only
Georgia.
on the wind up,
She doesn't
but
listen, but Georgia, she would definitely take his name.
She would. I know she would.
Because she, even though she always jokes about it, I think she's still got like a traditional heart as well. And I like that about people when they still keep
It's funny, isn't it? And then you see it in films all the time, don't you? Where they like, I'm going to be Mrs. Whatever. What was that film? The Wedding Singer, was it called?
I've never seen that.
You ever seen that?
No.
And we should have.
Well, that's just fuck that joke anyway. But basically, like, I think it's what's his name?
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
Oh my
In it,
God.
he's the wedding singer, and his last name's Hart. So she's like Drew Barrymore plays obviously the girl.
How many
And
films
she's
they come together then? She did.
millions. So she's like in the mirror at one time, saying, "Oh, Mrs. Robbie Hart," and it just sounds dead loving and stuff like that. And the other fella's name's something fucking stupid. Oh no,
Tambrini Brown.
Julia. So in the film, her name's Julia, and the fella's name's Gulia. So I'm going to be Mrs. Julia Gulia. It just sounds fucking pathetic, doesn't it? So in every scenario, you should be looking, what sounds the best?
Do you know what's funny as well? I did a wedding. It was, I can't remember the couple now, but I remember the bride being very specific on saying, I know it was now. It was Aaron Draper's wedding. Shout out to Aaron Draper and Rebecca. But you know when, like, in America, where they say on the film, like, what happens in Vegas, where
Mr. and Mrs. Jack Fuller.
Yeah. So it's like Mr. and Mrs. Josh Walsh if we got married.
You need to stop saying if now. I think we're like 27 deep here, we all know. Go on, continue.
But that's what they say in America. It's very common for them to say Mr. and
full
Mrs. Jack Fuller.
Yeah.
So she basically, Rebecca went over to the DJ and was like, listen, none of this like Mr. and Mrs. Aaron Draper, like it's Mr. and Mrs.
I've still
Draper.
got my name, my identity.
Yeah, like don't be putting his name in front of mine.
Yeah, I agree
Is that
with
actually a thing now? Are people actually doing that? Choosing?
I feel like I've heard it a few times. I can't think where.
That's the first I've heard of it.
At a wedding.
I think I've heard it trending on like the forums. Not that I read any.
Who are you?
I'm a changed man. Once I sit in this producer seat, something takes over me. You know what I mean? I've got the power.
It's good though. It's a good. It's eye opening. I think if anything else, because I've not heard about it, it's like a genuine reaction. I only kind of stick to certain things with tradition, but I feel like that's one of them.
How would you have
That
felt
sticks.
if Becky didn't want to take your
I
surname?
wouldn't be bothered. She's dying to take my name though, because even though mine's like annoying to spell and very long, you're always last on the school register and things like that. Her name.
Same for me.
Her name always gets said incorrectly, spelt incorrectly, so she's always correcting people.
What was it?
McComish.
Oh yeah, McCormish. It's
McCormish. Any other way other than the actual way that it's supposed to be. So I think she was desperate to take mine. So I had no problems there. But yeah, if she chose not to, I wouldn't force her. I'm not bothered really.
Saves changing the passport, doesn't it? Saves
Well,
money.
to be fair, I've done all this. The amount of things that's still in her maiden name anyway. It hardly makes any difference. So
hopefully she's changed it in the doctors, because when you're getting shouted your name out in the doctors,
I think she has now. But I mean, like, we're like 3 years
on
later
that
now. So
automated screen when it comes up, bloop, room number 5, Mrs. Alec. That's what I get.
Alec.
Yeah, well, not Mrs. Miss Alec to room 5.
Don't go there.
So we're going to rein it back into some like little bit of prep that, you know, the podcast producer's done.
We're not talking about our weddings of the week.
Well, if you want.
We usually do it at the start, don't we?
Yeah, let's do it then. So do you want to...
there, was you?
My weddings in the week have been changing nappies and
My nappies of the week.
bottles.
Tell us your worst one. Which ones did you enjoy the most?
We'll
all
save
type
that.
7 on the Bristol Stool chart.
Oh, someone's an S.
So, I think obviously we like to do this anyway. Weddings of the week. We didn't have one. I didn't have one this weekend. I don't think you did either.
No, we never.
So the last wedding that we actually did since the last podcast was one that we did together, which is always lovely.
Very nice.
What's the setting?
Knowsley Hall.
Knowsley Hall. We had our mate Emma being the coordinator on the day. She was boss.
Sounds.
And our other mate. What's your mate's name?
Jason.
Yeah. He's all right.
We're going to get him on.
He was actually dead keen, wasn't he?
He said he'll come on.
Jason?
Yeah, I love Jason.
So he said he was
Oh,
going
look
to
at
come
you. Love Jason.
Nice fella. Hannah and Michael.
Lovely couple.
Pair, like, probably the best autumnal day of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was definitely
Probably the first one that I've done where I've thought I could really, like, take this home. Because a lot of the other weddings that I've done across this autumn space have all been very, like, city-based. So you couldn't really get out in the woodlands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I did theirs, and it was obviously, Knowsley Hall's very
picturesque.
grounds-based,
Yeah.
isn't it? So there's just leaves everywhere. And we really took full advantage of it, I think.
Yeah, and to be fair with you saying that, it sounds like we've like went off with them for like hours. It was the perfect timing for it. They just done how it works at Knowsley Hall is. Yeah, how it works is they make they won't let people throw confetti on site, which I understand. It's probably a ball like to get rid of, but we take all the guests out, over all 120 of them, out of the grounds.
There was a few of us.
Yeah,
everyone giving us side eyes, like, why are we walking this far away?
But to be fair though, they were the most organised group.
Oh my God, Beth.
I've never seen him do it.
Did he tell you about it?
No, I didn't. But
Oh my God.
breaking news.
This is breaking news. So we come out. So bear in mind, there's 120 guests here. Sometimes it's hard to get 70 guests to listen, or even less. So we walked out of the ceremony, comes outside, and obviously we want to get that full group shot on the steps, which is kind of synonymous to the place. So we walked out, and we went, yeah, so basically I just want bridesmaids, groomsmen, mums and dads, if you could all come down to this front step, everybody else, if you could just stand them behind them, but we just need a little bit of a space through the middle so the bride and groom can come down in a minute. That's all I said, and I swear to
Sounds
what
about right.
was no. But literally within like 2 minutes, it was done. Like they'd all listened, they all got into place. And then the bride and groom came down to like a little bit of an ovation from the crowd. It was brilliant, wasn't it?
It was the
I
quickest.
just not best. I think that when you've got a venue where they're like, leave the ceremony and head straight for the group picture, it just works because the minute drinks get involved, like you've just got no chance and you lose people. Whereas in Nosy, obviously, it's in a separate room, isn't it? So
well, they're very efficient, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
And they do have a good timetable and they stick to it, which is great.
But I was going to go back
in our favour.
I was going to say, I was going back to when we took them off the couple. We got so many gorgeous little moments of them, and it was all in like a very short period of time because we were so conscious of saying to them, like, we don't want to steal your time. That's not our style at all. We like taking our couples off for 10, 15, 20 minutes max, and that's all it was. And obviously your pictures that you got from it are stunning.
Doing all right.
You know, little collab at Nosy all are seeing there, you know what I mean?
When the venue accepts, that's when you know you've done an all right job with it.
They didn't accept us. But I feel like because we did it on the same day as yours, maybe they were like in the same couple.
No, I get that. Some venues are like that. It's not always that
it's case. Okay. I understand. You letting me down, all right. I understand.
To be fair, I never get accepted by anyone, so I'm just made up. Anyway, but yeah, boss day.
Boss day. A little shout out.
Little sad road to
Sandy. My Sandy.
Sandy? Oh yeah. Something you're on about then. I was going to talk about the celebrants and you was like, oh, that's not her name.
oh, Sandy.
Josh rekindled old flames from the 50s.
Well, long story short is, as I walked into the bridal prep room, I was greeted by
Sandy Mandala.
By my old good friend Emily, who I had the pleasure of going to drama school with, if you don't know that about myself.
No.
And we were in the production of Grease together.
He's a thespian.
She was Sandy and I was Danny Zuko, as we call that.
Such a... Doesn't it make you crease when he says it?
Well, hang on a minute. Right, I played it down quite well because I could see the shock on your face when she was like... Even the bride actually... Do you know what? The bride actually said to me, I knew your face from somewhere.
Well, wasn't she in the same drama school or something?
No.
Or knew each other from something?
No, she came and watched the show. So she recognised my 14-year-old face in this old
such
face.
A star-like performance from yourself.
I think
she asked for an autograph.
She was starstruck, I think, the bride. She was like, I recognise your face. And I thought, the aisle chat? And she was like, no. We're going further back than that. We're going back to 2000.
Samsonite.
Speaking about getting recognised, though.
I was just about to say that. Oh.
Speaking about getting recognised.
It's about this.
Come
on, Beth, tell us the story. Tell me it actually happened as well.
So I was...
Set the scene.
Yeah.
So it was 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going on the train, Lime Street, going to London to see Abba Voyage, which was unbelievable.
10 out of 10. I didn't see it, by the way.
1 million out of 10. It was so good. And when we got on the train, you could spot like other women who were going to see Abba Voyage as well.
You could
like
spot them
the sequins, the prosecco in their hand, the pink heels in. You just knew. So obviously straight away, like, oh, are you going to see Abba? Yeah. Got chatting to this woman. She was like behind us, and she was like hanging over the seat, like talking. And then the rest of her party
sounds comfy.
with the other sides of the table. So you're just talking to everyone, and then one of them went to me, I've just realised, and I just knew, you know, when you're like, I know what's coming here. And she was like, on your memory box? I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, I listened to the podcast. I was like, thank you.
Well, isn't that really nice?
It was really lovely, and she was lovely, but I just feel so awkward.
Well, I actually got recognised.
Like, what do you say to that?
I haven't had it happen to me yet. Oh no, I kind of have. You've had it happen to you a couple of times.
Well, it happened to me after doing the Abbey
suppliers.
Well, no, it happened to me. Funny enough, when we done Abby's episode a couple of weeks ago. Shout out, by the way, to Abby for coming on, and thanks to everyone who listened and give us the support on that.
Top marks.
Really appreciate it. But after we finished wrapping up recording, me and you stayed behind, right, and we were just messing around doing this like protect the screen and all that. And I hadn't had my lunch that day, and I'm a very hungry person. All right, Beth. A little parrot in here, Echo.
I know, yeah.
I was a little bit hungry.
It would be my fault as well, Simone.
Of course it was, yeah.
Wasn't even able to. It's my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Go on. Anyway.
Public episode, this.
And someone said...
And basically, I went to a cafe. And as I walked into the cafe, speaking to the girl...
That day?
And she goes... So I didn't get... I'm lying, yeah. She went, aren't you Beth Alcock's fella? So we didn't even get notice of the podcast. And I went, oh, yeah. And she went... Beth Alcock's fella. And I was like, unfortunately, yes. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, I love the podcast. And that was
cool,
so she knew me through Beth through the podcast.
So technically she knew me from the podcast.
Oh yeah, superstar Beth. Beth knows everyone.
Well, there we go.
It is lovely when people obviously recognise, and it's nicer when people who you don't know like say, "Oh, I listen." Like it's good to know that someone actually listens. Out there.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what to say. I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Like,
do you know?
okay.
Do you know someone who I really want to give a shout out to who listens to every single episode, and I know she's listening to this right now, and I hope she's in the office. Oh, well, I'm not doing another one. I hope she's in the office, and I hope she goes bright red because she says she always does if we do give her a shout out, and it's our good friend Maisie.
Do you know, weirdly, I was just going to say, is it our good friend Maisie? I didn't know that was
she
coming.
Is. She listens every week.
She's my good friend Maisie as well after the christening.
See?
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Maisie...
So you were spotted as well?
I know,
yeah, you were spotted at the
it doesn't count though when it's like...
Family.
Yeah.
No, it does. I think everyone was like starstruck when they seen you because they know me and Beth. So when you come into the christening, they were like, oh my God, he's real.
There he is.
The guy. Do you know what? What happened to me the other week at a wedding with Ryan? And I don't even think I spoke to you about it. Someone actually come over to me and said, because I obviously had a camera in my hand, that's what I do, film weddings. Hey mate, will you do as a keyring for me in my bed?
Fuck off.
He did, I told you.
I must have
How old was he?
I must have cast it out of my mind.
He was, all right, Beth, I don't need to be ageist and be like...
No, I'm not, but I'm just saying...
He was old enough to remember keyrings being a thing.
I mean, obviously, I remember keyrings. So I'm not like...
I would say he was
why
probably...
I was asking, I'm like, are they coming back around? Was it someone young? Is it like a new trend?
I was going to say he's about Ryan's age.
Young then.
Dead young, yeah.
And he was, I think... Sorry, Ray. That was very nice, that wasn't it?
Go on, keep going.
And him and his partner, I think it was their first time at a wedding together, so it was like a big thing. They must have had like previous relationships, and now they were at that age where they were like, oh, it'd be nice to have a little memory from the day. Luckily, I sort of went, they might have a photo booth later, I don't know. That's like the more current thing. But key rings, does that even happen anymore?
Especially not at weddings, I don't think it's ever happened.
Well, it must have if he said it.
I don't know.
Do you recall ever being at a wedding, seeing a key ring?
I can only remember keyrings from nights out.
Yeah, same.
So, to anybody who's thinking on setting up a keyring business, weddings might be the new thing.
It's gonna come back.
Speaking about photo booths, though, I heard this story where basically this couple, when they first started dating, they go to a photo booth, and then every time they go out on a date or go somewhere new, different country, they'd always go and
I've heard this story.
Always go and use the photo booth, obviously get pictures and all that.
I've never heard
So
the
they'd
story.
been together for years, and that was like their little thing. So obviously it was only right that when he proposed, he done it in a photo booth.
Oh my God, what a guy.
So he done it in the photo booth and obviously caught the moment, literally perfect.
That is sick.
Did they talk about that on the therapy couch?
He did,
So
yeah.
they had. Our friends, Avi and Pete.
Oh, Ab and Peace, you know.
Shout
just
out Therapy Crouch
Thought
there.
that'd be nice stories. Do you listen to them?
Do you listen to it?
Sometimes.
Well, you
I don't,
do.
I don't like,
You
I'm
knew
not like
it.
a regular listener, but Becky always has it on when she's like just about to get in a shower or whatever, so I do her bits.
Yeah. I heard it and I thought, I'm going to tell you sex as well. When
a nice story, that.
they told the story, I mean, it's a bit different when I tell the story because I'm not a great storyteller, but when they told the story,
tell
I
myself
actually
that.
got goosebumps.
Yeah, she told it nicer.
Yeah.
She's got
Not like me.
You did as well. It's just I had already heard
Yeah.
it.
But no, isn't that lovely? Very
I keep
personal.
noticing about Ray. Ray keeps blaming things on Becky all the time when really
It's not a blame game. I'll fully admit I've watched these things and seen these things, but I don't like go out of my way to watch and see these things. They just come into my life.
Fair enough. Wedding cars doing more than one trip. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, so they'll like go and pick up the one party,
Pick up
take
the
them to the
bridesmaids,
venue and then
take
go
them.
back, pick up another one back.
How are we feeling about it? Because I've noticed a few times this year, it's delayed the proceedings of things.
It's all for cost though, isn't it, really?
But shouldn't do the car suppliers?
Company.
Yeah, do they have an obligation to be able to say to them like, listen, you're gonna be late here, but don't start moving now, or should they just not interfere?
I think it's a bit of both.
I think they should, but I feel like I've never seen them directly say it. They may have said, I feel like I've
More
been
like
in
a
the,
background
they've said it
service,
to
aren't they?
us.
Yeah.
And then I've gone being like,
Well, they always,
we need
it's
to
funny
be
the thing
clear.
with
They're
wedding
always
cars,
early.
they always turn up early.
Yeah,
I think
never
that's
late.
every time I've ever been anywhere,
Yeah,
there's
and everyone
always a
goes,
wedding.
oh my God, the car's are here, quick.
Yeah. So that always
What do you
happens. No, yeah, because it's a good reenactment that. But then, like, I think they've got a right to be able to say, listen, I know you're all like doing what you're doing and stuff like that. Even if they put it through to us and like we pass the message on, just to say, you know, obviously you want to get to like the church or the venue or whatever by this time, to be able to enable that with the traffic that I've just seen, we'll need to kind of go soon. I think that's well within the right to do.
Do you know what's quite
Because they only get blamed when they don't.
Yeah, they
when
would
they don't.
100% get blamed. Even if they're there half an hour earlier, they will get the blame.
Of course they will.
I was going to say, imagine if like the wedding car drivers had the same outlook like a taxi driver would. He's like, listen, if you're not out in 5 minutes, I'm off.
Imagine that.
How funny would that be?
Uber for your thing. I think that. Yeah.
Do you reckon that's a good idea, though?
I don't think there's a problem with them doing multiple trips, though. And I think, like you said, like it's a cost thing, because I don't know, I've never booked a wedding car, but like I don't know if they do per trip, per day, per like hours saved. I don't know.
No, I think it's literally a cost. I don't think it is like a how many trips are we doing. I think it's, well, I don't know.
I think it could be. That could be taken into consideration.
But then you would think you just get 2 cars then, wouldn't you? To save them.
Well, they might be like, look, this is impossible.
But we really like that particular car, so we want that car to take us, but we wanted to take them as well.
We had it, didn't we? The other week had Leanne and Mark's wedding, who had a big car turn up, and like
used to be an old Coke van, I believe.
A little bit of history.
The story.
And we just assumed the whole wedding party would be getting in, including the bride and groom.
Because there was enough space. There was enough space to do one trip, but they didn't, and then they were actually late.
So they've done 2 trips in a big car with empty seats.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at with this question. Like me saying, do you think it's a...
That doesn't really make sense. Like.
I think like on everything on a wedding day, it all comes down to like practicality. And if you're going a short distance, then you're probably all right to like chance a 2-trip situation. But if you're going from like one end of the city to like the other end of the city, which is like a 20-minute-ish drive / round trip to come back and go back again, you know, you really need to think these things through, especially with most days you're never really leaving on time. It's actually sometimes rare that brides are so efficiently in front. So I don't know, it's so fun. But then getting back to that point of the drivers definitely do have a say, but they just never really speak up, do they? I think most of the time it's the driver, and they've never dealt with the couple, so maybe they feel a bit like unsure to whether to like push themselves out there.
Yeah, because as someone who's going to be in the venue or in the house with the bridal party, if a wedding car driver come in and was like, listen, you just need to hurry up, I'd be like, what the hell, he's a bit...
Yeah,
and I'd be a bit like, oh God, he's...
Pushy him.
A bit pushy, isn't he?
Her.
Or her, yeah.
Well, I was speaking about time. When do you think the right time is to have a drink on a wedding day?
Us.
Unfortunately
The start.
not. Like the couple.
I think it's fine to have a drink at any time, as long as you like look after yourself, keep the waters going as well.
I was actually going to say that.
But I just think there's not in my head the idea of there's nothing better than getting ready in the morning with a little glass of something.
Looks classy. It looks classy
I just
as
think
well.
there's nothing better than that. But what if you have too many and you're like...
I've seen it happen, sadly.
And that's what I was going to come on to say. I've seen it happen, and not naming no names. I think she'll be. She was a laugh. She was such a laugh. But I think she was just literally borderline getting told the wedding's not going ahead.
Yeah, because I think that's what people forget sometimes, isn't it? It's like, yeah, we're all going down for this lovely wedding day where everyone's going to have like a nice drink and a party and stuff like that. But it's still, one part of it is a very, what's the word?
Formal.
Professional, formal, legal process. Like the reason why there's always usually like a registrar and a backup is because it's an actual legal matter. So it needs to be witnessed by somebody who's in a certain position. Let's just call it that.
A registrar. A legal registrar, yeah.
And like if you're too drunk, they can decline. They can actually say no, you're not getting married because you're too drunk.
Even like when you get to the speeches and you see like most of the time it's like the best man will be like, I'm not having a drink, or even the groom, I'm not having a drink till I've done my speech. So it's like, it's just the same. Where they could be like, well, I'm not having a drink till I'm officially married.
Did you drink on your wedding night in the morning?
I don't think it did, no.
Why not?
Didn't have time. You were so busy running. You were like a 5k
I
run.
did the 5k, in the morning.
I actually did a 5k the other day.
At a local park run. Did you?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, son. I'm Dad.
Role reversal. No, I don't think I did have a drink.
Did Becky?
Remember right?
Becky definitely did.
I don't know. You were there.
I think
Tell me.
I think she had one.
I think
She must have had a little glass of something. I bet. Her mum anyway. She loves a little drink, so I don't think there was a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think little drinks to kind of like pass the time is lovely. Going all out, like let's have a big binge is not for me.
I think it must be hard to binge, and obviously I know you're up for hours getting ready, but it must be hard to binge within that short period of time because
people find a
you're
way.
getting your hair, you're getting your makeup done, you can't drink. Like
I was gonna say, funny enough that you brought up the drinking side of things. I actually read another story when I was doing my research on a bride who, when it comes to like the formal bit of the couple shots and stuff, she had to get taken away because she was what's the word when you're like alcohol poison.
Fucked.
That's the common word. She got took away and obviously had to get put on an IV drip to obviously try and sober her up, but she didn't get back to the wedding, which is a bit sad. So I definitely, my advice would be to any couples that are listening is in the morning side of things, because you're nervous and you might not want to have a drink. You might not want to eat. You might not want to eat. So don't replace eating by having a bevy.
Yeah,
try and have both.
I think even when you eat, it's the adrenaline. Did you just say that? Because we weren't listening.
No, I was saying about being nervous.
Yeah, but even like your adrenaline, you're all over the place, so you probably get drunk quicker, don't you?
Yeah.
And
most of the time, you probably haven't had anything to eat, which obviously means only one thing.
But yeah. And I was also going to come back around to, we were speaking about like obviously the wedding car doing more than one trip. And I was also going to, I don't know if we spoke about this before or not, but I think it's a good point to make. 2 weddings at one venue.
Hate it.
I
hate it. Obviously, I get some venues are like made to be that way, but
capacity.
Like I St. George's Hall, I get it. It's like a registry office, so there's going to be like that conveyor belt system. But when it's a venue and there's like, and I understand that the capacity side of it, they can accommodate 2 wedding parties. There's something that's just dead confusing for me. I haven't seen one venue. Don't get me wrong, I don't go to that many venues that do operate 2 weddings on one day, to be fair. Really. Or if I do, there's never usually another one that I see. But we did it recently.
No, yeah. But what I mean, that's what, not that many.
Not
at all.
Yeah, but what's your feel on it?
I think it puts a lot of strain on the venue, to be fair. And it's always that like...
Do you think it's a bit of a money grabbing thing from a venue? As a bit of like a...
Yeah and no. I mean...
Well, obviously it is, isn't it?
If they've got 2 big rooms, then they can more than happy to do that. But
it'd be so easy to mistake him. They'd be like, send that up to the
I just think it's like it's hard for us as well. Truth be told,
I think it's hard for every supplier on the day, and as you say, for guests, I think there's a lot of confusion when people
no one knows
there.
who's who.
Yeah,
everyone's families and friends are all from all over the show, and they all mix and congregate in one place.
Yeah,
we've had it before where we've shot a wedding, and when they had the drinks reception, both weddings were on the same like grass
lawn outside.
Yeah,
that's hard work.
Obviously, we're trying to shoot candles, and I'm like, I don't even know who's in this wedding
because we don't know anyone, do we?
They were all merged though as well, which made it worse. We couldn't
distinguish who was who.
I like you. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it at all. I think if it comes down to money, then go for it. But I do think it puts strain on venues, and I haven't really seen one. If it has operated like that, do it well, in my opinion.
And I think that's a nice way of ending that question of 2 weddings at a wedding. 2 weddings at one venue, sorry. I wanted to go on to being a producer. I feel like I'm all in control today. I know you're enjoying the roller coaster that I'm taking you on.
I'm just sitting off.
But speaking about being, well, that's just typical Ryan. It's just laid back as anything.
By the way, can I just say about sitting off and typical Ryan laid back? I don't think I've ever came here so casual.
Oh, I'm actually glad because I look like just to say champ.
You look all right though, because that's like the style, isn't it? But like I try and wear my wedding uniform when I arrive on this. But today I've got like me pure trackies and everything on. I feel like comfy, but I just don't know if I'm giving off professional vibes.
Yeah, but I thought the same. I thought every time we do the podcast, I always try to like
Well, I
wear
usually
something
wear the
nice,
same clothes.
and I don't really own not nice but gym stuff. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just going full force me today.
Going with it, yeah.
Got my Uggs on and everything. Like,
Yeah.
what are you for?
I haven't got my Uggs on. I've got these things on.
And I've just got. I can't show you.
You wouldn't know. You've just got a black t-shirt on. Well, so have I really. Haven't.
Listen.
But can I just say,
I am the boss.
Can I just
So
like
just turn it in?
Can I just say as well, the reason why I am so casual is because I had a bit of a. I think this is one of the questions that someone sent in about time management and whatever, and how it works into your life. But like, I had a situation today where I had probably about 25 minutes to get from ours to here. But before I came from ours to here, I had to pick 2 kids up from school and get a shower, all within a 25-minute area. So that's why I am so casual. But I forgot my child today. Left her at school.
Which one?
The older one. I went and got the little one, and then came home, was sat there through Coco Melon on or whatever she likes to watch. And I'm sitting there, I was like, right, okay, I'm just waiting for Becky to come in now, then I'll get a shower, and then I'll get out the shower, and then I'll get off down to the studio. It's made it sound like we had like a proper space there, didn't we?
This is a studio, lad.
No, I know, yeah. But then, like, I'm sitting there and I get a phone call, like, 3:10. Hi, is that Thea's dad?
Aww.
I was like, yes, it is. She's like, no one's picked her up from school. I was like, she has pop club on a Tuesday. It's like, doesn't. She has it on a Wednesday. I was like, fine, I'll be there in a minute. I felt like the worst dad ever, by the way.
So,
Did you just tell Becky?
well, he's just publicly told everyone on the podcast.
told the world, bad dad award.
You're not a bad dad.
On the way. But,
work-life balance.
Work-life balance, I couldn't get away with it either because you have a ring doorbell, so that's the biggest grass ever these days. Continue. Becky keeps me accountable by that ring bell. You know, like she'll say, like, you know, you're getting there, don't you, for such and such a time. I haven't seen you leave yet. She'll know.
Love that.
That's a wife. That's a wife right there. Work-life balance is so fun, really, because we've obviously got a little one, as you can see. Well,
spoke about this the other week, didn't we? Work-life balance.
We did, but in a nutshell, it's, as you can see, we've brought Jonah to the podcast again.
Baby Jonah.
Baby Jonah.
Ooh, jumped right on cue there.
But yeah, it's a tough one, really, because obviously when you've got young kids, like we all have, and you're basically self-employed, running your own business, it's difficult to find the time to keep pushing the business and growing it, and also
have a life,
finding it. So the balance is just like constantly going like this, because when you think you've cracked it, something else will happen, like someone will get sick, or it'll be someone, like something will happen and it'll just go whoosh. Where like people who work in a 9-to-5 job, their balance is revolved around that 9 to 5, where we haven't got that.
And the structure doesn't tend to change.
Yeah, the structure doesn't change. For us, it's constantly changing. You might not have any weddings for a week, and the next week you might have 2, and that means you've lost 2 days of like editing and like being with the kids, and you've got to sort of like regain that time, and you know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean, especially for me as well, because through the week I do like to have them daddy daycare days, but then Becky's work pattern shifts every single week. She doesn't have like set days in work or anything like that. She only works 3 days a week, shifts. But
Becky, just stop being so selfish.
I know.
Oh
Sorry
my
for
God.
Becky, it's the hospital.
Sorry, Becky.
But she, when her days don't fit well into like this or like my time, it's so hard to like regain.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You're just
those
always
hours.
spreading yourself thin. You can't really like say yes to anything because you don't really know that far in advance. But yeah, it is like you've just said it perfectly. It's that. It's just you're always counterbalancing. You're always like going, that worked this week, that doesn't work this week, so that's gonna just always do this.
I think as well, so like at the minute we're like, we've come out of peak wedding season, so our editing is like massive.
Yep.
And we are powering through it
Back
really
to the
well.
wall.
But we're obviously editing every single night up till midnight working. And I feel like once that backlog of editing goes, and once you're like, it's all basically done, and obviously you take your foot off the gas a little bit to get back into that like wedding season. It's so hard to get back into it. Once you're in it, it's fine, but to get into it, it can take like weeks, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think our like January, February time would be really quiet
Yeah.
in terms of editing, where that's when we start like promoting the business probably more and more. But then once, as Beth said, once that wedding season starts again, you're just getting back into that swing of things, aren't you? Trying to like get your editing backlog sorted. But that's just more of like from a videographer and photographer point of view, isn't it really? But I want to speak about a wedding that we captured in the past 2 months.
We or you?
Well, you were there. And I don't think it got any light shown on it, how much of a cool moment it was. And it was Kaylee and Dan at the Baltic Hotel when they both got up and performed. Like, that's like something like
Baltic Hotel. It was 10 Streets.
Let's rewind that back. But yeah, 10 Streets. I'm sorry, I got that completely mixed up.
Yeah.
That was a
Coolest day ever.
I'd say it was everything that happened on that day was just unbelievably cool, and I would never ever say that, would I?
I think because they are wedding singers, they are professional singers, and they obviously work in the weddings, that when it comes to their own wedding, they were just like,
They knew it.
we're just doing it our way,
Yeah.
and it couldn't have been more unique to them. And obviously I didn't shoot it, but I've edited it.
I really loved that day.
And it was, even what she wore, like she looked absolutely gorgeous. It just looked like a boss day.
It was good to be around as well.
Yeah, it was.
Travisco ice cream van was there, so we all had ice creams. Obviously, I pretended I was getting footage. I was actually just waiting in the queue. And
I know, you little rat. You didn't get me and Matty any. How much of a scumbag can you be? If you're I'm not being funny, right, let's just settle this debate.
2 hands, one for the camera, one for the ice cream.
He's got straps on, Beth. Let me just settle this debate right. If you go to an ice cream van and you've got 2 mates sat over there, are you getting them an ice cream or not? When they say to you, get me an ice cream, please. I'm very polite as well when I ask. Can I have an ice cream, please? And he obviously didn't come back with the goods.
all good.
So yeah, but that was an unbelievable moment. I'm going back to them both getting up performing, because it's just like you never ever see it.
Like that never really
never see
happens.
it.
The only other time I've had something similar to that from memory is, funnily enough, I think it's their anniversary today. Tony and Kelly, who got married about 3 years ago, I think it is now. He got up and performed a guitar solo on his wedding night, because he's a musician. And like, he's just done it forever, and he had like loads and loads of like live entertainment on throughout the night. But at one point he got up and did it, and at that time, that was the first ever time I'd seen it. So like rock and roll, if you want to call it that.
Rock and roll, man.
And I was like, that was boss that. But they just,
If you had to get up
nailed it.
and perform or do something on your wedding night, like say you were getting married again,
Well,
keeping it PG,
I know.
Well, I
would you
couldn't
do?
perform the other way if I tried.
Hey.
What would I do? I can't really, I'm not really very talented.
I know, I don't
musically,
really have
to
like
be
a
fair.
party
I know I've
trick.
got a guitar over there somewhere. There's a guitar
No,
in this room
Ryan
somewhere.
used the studio as like a shed. We constantly just get things dropped off here, like random stuff. Honest to God. Anyway, back to your solo performance.
Yeah, I'd probably sing, or try to, at least. Don't know what I'd sing though. Wouldn't be a ballad.
No, you wouldn't sing. And do you know what I liked about their wedding?
I think
they
if I had to choose anything, I'd have to be singing.
But that's the obvious one, isn't it? Because
Karaoke,
for
yeah.
them,
You can be a shit singer.
well, I was going to say, because they're both singers, a lot of their friends were singers and performers. So
yeah.
throughout the day, in the night time, instead of having they had like live entertainment on all day, which was just unbelievable, which I highly recommend doing at your wedding. It doesn't half make a difference for your guests and for yourselves. They had karaoke, so the guests were getting up.
Yeah.
And it
But
was just so clever.
It was like
Yeah.
professional karaoke. It was
Yeah.
like going to watch like a live episode of like The Voice or
Well,
something.
they had
Yeah.
friends
'Cause
from the West End, didn't they? perform?
everybody could sing, and they all had good stage presence and everything. It was like a live show.
Yeah, and they set it up themselves. It was all their gear. So like beforehand, like the
Yeah,
games
they did the
remember, like,
sound
just
checks
setting
and
it up.
everything.
Yeah.
It was boss.
Yeah.
It was boss. Like
It was good. It was great to witness, and it was a little bit different. And I thought, do you know what? Because we haven't been doing a lot of episodes of the podcast, and we haven't been had the chance to do like weddings of the week for the previous weddings that have come and gone, and because we've just edited it recently, I thought I want to give them a little shout out. So Keely and Dan, love the pair of you. She's both
big
sound.
fans of yous.
And guess where Dan's from, right? And guess where they live?
Heighton.
Back off. Back off. Another thing that I wanted to mention.
It's not like you.
It's a little concept. Do you ever find yourself as a photographer, right? People coming over to you and asking for headshots at weddings or profile pictures?
Well, I'll answer that in a 2-part scenario. Okay. Part number 1, people don't normally ask, can I have some headshots?
Profile pictures.
But funnily enough, talking about something that you've done recently, I gave Leah and Sam Glendenning's wedding pictures back this week or the week before. And there was a girl, wasn't he? I think it was her cousin or something like that, who was just coming to do something to do with stage school or whatever. And her mum asked if I would take some photos of her on that day so that she could use them as headshots, which I did. The funny part was I felt like I had to like explain it when I gave them back.
Oh, why
like
they wouldn't.
just to let you know the reason why there's
Your
like
cousin's like everywhere in the album.
the reason why there's like 17 pictures in a row of your cousin is purely because of this reason. She wanted them for headshots, so just pass them on for me because I felt like I'm gonna get judged here.
Had a little sauce spot for your cousin.
But yeah, so no, but at the same time, I think as a bit of a like, what would you call it? Like as like a bit of an icebreaker, I sometimes say it at weddings. Like if anybody's got an, after the group shots, when everyone's just a little bit like, not sure what to do. Do we go? Do we stay? I'll normally like to break the ice a little bit. Go right, anyone, you're all free to go. But if anyone wants a new profile photo for their Instagrams or what are the sites?
What are all the platforms these kids use these days? These platforms.
If anyone needs a new profile photo, let me know and I'll get you.
So, speaking about this.
So yeah and no.
I was at a wedding recently working alongside a photographer. I won't name her. What she does is, when you're having your meal, she gives an iPad around each table. This is an idea you might be able to, steal.
Nice. Let me hear this out.
And basically, you might not want to steal it actually. She gives the iPad out and you can buy the image off her iPad there and then for your own sake. So if you see an image that you like,
all those headshots you just give away for free.
Basically she's selling them to the guest there and then.
How's that work then?
Because basically she must say throughout the day, come over, I'll take a photograph of you and your family and stuff, like very portrait stuff.
Does she like have some sort of secondary editing doing that for her while she's taking the pictures?
No, I think they are raws.
They're all raws. Well, they buy a raw like.
But this is to people who might not understand raws. Explain what you're on about, because they're just seeing the image and thinking, "Oh, it's lovely."
Yeah, I mean,
there's no edit on it, so they can edit themselves.
Just
Just a full-on raw image off their camera.
Don't know. Do what you're doing, innit? I wouldn't do that. I think that's a bit like cheeky, if you ask me.
I think it kind of like takes the eye off, like this is their wedding.
Well, yeah, it's like how much money can I make out of this day? Like you've already been paid to be there. Yeah. I wouldn't do that. So I don't know who that photographer is, and it's not to say it's like a wrong thing to do. I think it's a good money making way to do it, but I wouldn't do it. I just think, one, you're not a salesman. You're not trying to upsell packages to people, so just jib it and just enjoy the day as it is. And two,
and she sat there like that. Here comes the money. There's money.
There's no two.
What I do think is nice though, because I feel like is that obviously the people who've got the pictures, they've got them to keep. Where sometimes when you send the couple the album, I always
they
think,
might not always get them.
Does it ever reach like those candidate photos? Does it ever reach other people?
Do you know what I was actually thinking of then? Them headshots Ryan did for this young girl, obviously 12 weeks down the line when you're delivering the album, she had braces on that day. She hasn't even got braces anymore. There are a date headshots. I am joking, by the way, Ryan. I can see Ryan being so sensitive.
Spent a lot of time
well,
on
if
the
she
headshots.
wants some more, it's going to cost.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, it's the iPad with the dough.
But I always throw things like that in. Like, if someone says to me, oh, well, we're doing this or whatever, or say there's like a certain couple that I've spotted being like really nice and like really emotional and there's like a sunset behind or whatever like that, I'll make a beeline for them and like get them some nice pictures. But like you said, I don't actually ever know if they've got them. Like, I assume a bride and groom would go, right, there's a boss one of our Jenny and John. Let's send them now. But then I suppose there's not always a way to know if that's true.
Very, very, very true. One last thing from my prep that I've brought this week, because I can clearly see you have brought loads. I'm joking, by the way. I'm not.
I'm sorry, I'm just dry mouth here.
If your partner, obviously during your wedding day, got to the top of the aisle and they had something stuck in their teeth, would you tell them there and then?
Yeah.
Or would you let it go on?
I would.
You'd have to imagine all the ceremony pictures and you've got like herbs in your teeth.
Herbs?
I don't know. But
Usually are herbs, though, aren't they? There's most things because stuck in your teeth are herbs. I would tell her.
Would you?
I'd have to tell her. I think I've noticed that if I can remember right, I'm sure there was actually a wedding where I've seen it and I've took the herbs out in the edit. Oh. You know what I mean?
You meant out the teeth. Come here again.
Yeah. Hey, you've got something there, girl. No,
whoa. Just stop the ceremony.
This is a good point, actually. So I do take out, like, certain blemishes if people point them out to me, or even if they don't sometimes, if there's, like, a certain, like, say you've just had your wedding day and you're, like, fuming because you've just this day, you've just got this big spot there. Without even being asked, I'll take it out. But, like, I've done that, which is took stuff out of people's teeth on the edit.
And you would obviously tell me if I had something stuck on my teeth.
Would you tell him?
Yeah.
Straight away?
Yeah.
Would you tell her?
Of course, would.
Would you be in
I
our
think-
ass and go, your wedding photos?
Yeah, you
are
look lovely,
ruined."
but you've got some big green thing in your teeth.
Yeah, you've got a tree in your teeth.
I'd be like, what have you been eating this morning? You're all like...
You'd have to. Imagine looking back on all the
Yeah,
pictures.
you couldn't. It's a funny one. I just think generally in life, forget about on a wedding day. That's always such a thing, isn't it? Like, would you tell them or not? Even if you're just going through your regular day. You go, so I've been walking around like that. No, I've only just seen it. So if you ever went for like a meal somewhere, say like a breakfast or a lunch, and then you've just gone throughout your day, and then it gets to like 3-4 o'clock when you're getting in the car on the way home, and you goes, oh my God, I've got something there. Why didn't you say nothing? It's like, well, I either didn't see it for a start, or I was just being an ass. I wouldn't do that.
Just being it, typical me. Funny enough though, we went and seen a horror film last night called Smile.
I thought when you said about Sunning Place, I thought about
And
It's not like you used to go to pictures. Did you use your voucher?
We haven't used it yet.
we
haven't
wanted
been...
to. It was in discussion. Ryan got us a Odeon voucher as a lovely gift. And we wanted to. However, because, childcare and like you're on a limited time, we could only
Couldn't go to the right cinema.
certain times, so we had to go to the good old showcase.
You're at the showcase?
Yeah.
But that's a little trip down memory
We were
lane.
the only ones in
It's
the
nice now though, isn't it?
It is. I think most cinemas
They've had an
now,
upgrade.
they've had like a revamp, haven't they, all of them, so that they're all like dead smart, they're all on the same
I would say
playing
you've
field.
probably been to the pictures more times in the last month to 2 months than I've been in the last year to 2 years.
25 years. Last film I seen in the pictures was Grease.
I can't even remember the last film I've seen on the pictures.
That's when you're showing.
Did you get popcorn when you go?
I got a small one because I'm dieting at the moment.
Did you get anything?
Do you have nachos? I'm gonna say.
Yeah, if we meant popcorn,
Do you have like go-tos when you go?
Mine's definitely popcorn. Always.
Small popcorn, nachos.
What's yours?
I like to get medium popcorn because I'm not stupid.
I normally get a large. I'm just on a diet at the moment, okay? Nothing fits me.
No, and I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Sam.
But I usually get popcorn and I like to get minstrels. But weirdly,
lads, you're ticking all my boxes here,
no, but weirdly, like I don't think we ever get a drink. No, I think the last time we got a drink, but it's always like a shit one, like a fucking water or something. But I don't get any ice blasts.
No.
I don't get any ice blasts. They're stupid.
You've grew up now, haven't you?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But it's a funny one because, like, I know when you go to the pictures, the minstrels are about £8.
Yeah.
But for some reason, do you take pre-bought snacks?
No,
As cinema connoisseurs.
Beth is becoming
So
that
we
mum where she's like,
always-
no,
yeah.
we need to pack the
It's
bag.
a very practical thing to do.
Yeah, because it costs an absolute
I know it
fortune.
does.
It costs more than the tickets to buy food
know.
in the pictures.
Yeah, it does.
However, I always feel like I'm like breaking the law. And when you're taking them in your bag, I'm like, are you even allowed to do this? Like, don't you feel like you have to be
I
dead
actually
secretive
don't think
about
that-
it?
Yeah, I don't think they're arsed though, are they,
I know, but you
realistically?
still feel like you're
Yeah,
sneaking
you do.
around
You
and,
feel like you're like
make sure the bag's zipped up, make sure they
betraying
can't
your
see.
country. I think I should not that I ever go.
I've seen people taking Mackies into the pictures.
I've seen people take all kinds of
Which-
like a full like case of beer and everything. A lot.
Brutal, innit?
It was at
When
the
we went
showcase, actually.
when we went the other day, I did bring 2 cans of Coke Zero
Cook.
and half a bag of Haribo.
Half.
Because we're on a diet.
Where's
so,
the other half?
In my belly.
In my belly.
Don't have been finished off. But we were the only ones in the cinema, which made the film even more spooky because it's a horror film. Do you like horror films?
Yeah, but I just don't feel like horror films are actually horrifying anymore.
This was.
Well, hang on a second. You've not seen this film. So just give it a chance. When it comes out, buy it and watch it.
I'm not buying films.
All right, well,
Stupid film.
watch it however you need to
to
watch it.
dodgy sticks, do you?
No, because I pulled the law.
Exactly.
So if you can, when you can, watch it. Smile 2, it's called. Or watch Smile 1. But it's a really interesting film. But basically that whole stuff in your teeth thing reminded me of that film because before she goes on stage...
Do people smile on the film by any chance?
Oh, yeah, that's the whole concept of the film. But it's basically, in a nutshell, it's a parasite in your brain and it makes you see things and people are smiling back at you all the time and you start seeing things that aren't real and it, like, you end up basically wanting to kill yourself in the end because you're going around the bend. But basically what happens is before she goes on stage to do like a talk, she's got like obviously red lipstick on, she's like a superstar and there's a fly buzzing around and she goes like that and like goes like to hit the fly and then kills it and smudges and she comes out onto the stage to this talk, big smudged makeup. But just made me ask the question about the stuff in your teeth.
That's how his brain works, isn't it?
Yeah, I am a bit
I
special
did
in
think
that
the
sense.
same when he said that. It made me think that I was fresh in the mouth. But when I was watching, I was like,
Yeah.
just wipe your face.
Yeah, it was doing
You
my
know,
head
like
in.
looking at someone and they're like got like hair there, and you're like, Just like
White
touching your own
chicks.
face as if say like, just move your
Do you
head.
white chicks, Beth?
I am.
But speaking of horror stories, Memory Box Films is a bit of a horror story this week.
Oh,
I've reeled it back.
seeing it live.
Seeing it live unfold. Well, obviously I've told you what happened. And yeah, basically we lost the account. And I actually want to give a bit of education to people out there, businesses especially, anyone who has got an Instagram business account or whatever. I would advise to make sure you're working with your two-factor authentication code on a third-party app, and make sure you've got that third-party app on your phone. Because what happened to us was we got logged out the Instagram account. It was asking us for the codes that we did not have. Then it was asking us for a backup code that we did not have. And then it was asking us to do a video selfie. And when I'd done the video selfie for them, which it makes you do like this thing where it goes turn your head left, turn your head right, up, down, whatever.
Cha-cha slide.
Cha-cha slide. It denied it twice. Now, it takes like 48 hours for them to even get back to you on this in working days as well. So over the weekends, you're just not hearing from them. So I'm losing hope at this point. I've went through all our emails, I went through all the camera rolls to try and find these codes. And the moral of the story is I actually went on an old phone of mine and found the third-party app with the two-factor authentication code. So don't throw your phones out, because that's what happens. Or
I always keep my next used phone.
No, it wasn't the next one. It was the one before that.
Even before that.
But he's like a hoarder. He's got like Blackberries and Nokias and all that, and the boxes. He's just like, he keeps all kinds. And I always think, why on earth? I've been everything. Why have you got that? But
This is why.
there's a
and
reason.
this is why, Ryan. So it's proven a point, and it saved the Instagram account. If anyone was wondering what happened, and that was the gosh. That was the gosh. We didn't get hacked. A lot of people were messaging saying, "Oh my god, you've been hacked." I'm like, no, because the profile's still the same. Nothing's changed. It literally was just asking us for a code that we did not longer have. We've got it back now, and the relief was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah,
It was unbelievable, because we were getting inquiries through that were coming through Instagram, but to our email. So it was basically saying like, "We've heard from you.
You've got a thing there.
Yeah.
But you couldn't see it.
Yeah."
Shite.
So yeah, it was a stressful
I'm
time.
glad you've got it back though anyway.
Thanks.
I know.
Imagine having to start again.
It was constantly going through my brain of being like, if it goes any longer than this date, we're going to have to like set something up to sort of keep the account growing. Another account. But yeah, thankfully we don't have to do that.
It's question time.
Lovely jubbly. Where have the questions gone? Okay. So first question in is wedding traditions that need to be binned off. And I'm not even going to say what the person's put, but I want you to say wedding traditions that you think should be binned off. Oh my God, there's a pause in the room.
I thought you were about to speak.
Well, I was going to say cutting the cake.
Why?
I'm not saying that it should be binned off, but I feel like it's not an essential part of the wedding day. So you're thinking of like stages, like obviously you've got your first dance. You could say bin that off, but I feel like that's like breaks the ice for the dance floor, doesn't it? So that needs to stay. Cutting the cake can happen before the meal, after the meal, in the night, in the morning, after the ceremony. It doesn't really matter. And a lot of the time people are just doing like small dishes. Like little like picky bits as a dessert.
So you're saying you still should have like some sort of like sweet treat for the guests?
Yeah, but it could just be like a cookie stand or a cake wall, a crisp wall or something like that.
Not as big as a cake.
Not a bit.
Well, you say not as big as a cake. We've got these little heart trend cakes at the minute.
I got one for your birthday.
Yeah, and they're lovely. Yeah, for me birthday, for myself.
Backtrack.
Not for 120 guests on a wedding day. No one's getting any of that.
Say not far off.
She's right.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you agree with that one, right, about the wedding cakes situation?
Yeah and no, because I seen the original question when it came in about wedding cakes, etc. Now, up until recently, so I think this is going, it's not controversial. Up until recently, I would say, yeah, swerve the cake, because it's totally boring. Like, you're spending a lot of money on it and stuff like that. And
All
like,
our
no
wedding
one
cake
eats it.
suppliers are like,
No one
I'm
eats
gonna
it. No,
bloody
this is
minute.
nothing against wedding cake
Yeah, 'cause I
makers.
absolutely love cake.
Because I love cake.
Love
The
the
more
cake.
cake, the merrier. But it didn't. It never really got. It's like spotlight that it
Yeah.
was kind of put on it. So a lot of people was like, usually they go cake cut straight into first dance, and they're not interested about getting into the first dance. The cake cut is like cake cut gone. But I think recent trends and the way the cake cut is captured these days, usually with black and white, maybe with some of them glasses
Yeah.
on, like the Mr. and Mrs., you can really jazz the cake cut part up. That was
Okay.
a mouthful,
You
wasn't
know what I love instead of a cake cut, which I've just thought of alternative? Champagne pour,
it? Champagne pours best.
champagne tower.
Yeah.
I think that.
I think that's a good addition. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's traditional or not.
It's not traditional at all, no.
No.
But like,
as long as
bring that in.
alternative.
I'd say bring that in, especially on
Yeah.
the right day. That goes down. It's treat.
It's
Best
mad
of the
that, it's
cake.
mad that you say on the right day because you just assume it's going to be a nice, warm, sunny day. You don't ever assume it
That's
being
all
a
I'm
winter
seeing
wedding.
when
Yeah,
I'm seeing
yeah.
thingy. But at the same time, you could have that in like a stately home, in like the library section, and it'd go off
Ooh.
just as good. I think.
Yeah, it would. Any traditions that you'd want to bin off?
Um,
Oh, I know. This could be controversial. I just don't understand the whole thing with something old, something new, something borrowed,
something borrowed, something blue. That's when I would jib.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that that's one that doesn't need to be there. And most of the time, people don't take it serious either, and they haven't got all of the. They've got something old and something borrowed, but not something blue and something new.
Is that just a superstitious thing, though? Is that
I
the
don't
reason
actually know where
for
it comes from. Like a lot of these traditions, I think we were talking about traditions before. The binning off of the names have to be the male name. That's it needs to get binned off because that's outdated now.
Yeah.
Like that's well gone. But I think certain traditions are nice to have. I think it gives you like a bit of a structure.
I was going to say the tradition of not staying with each other the night before your wedding. Because that one, for me, I don't feel like I'd have a good night's sleep. Do you know what I mean? I feel like when I'm not sleeping next to Beth, sounds weird, because we don't even like, we're not like a cuddly couple anyway, but I just feel like if I was on my own in the room, would I be awake more because I haven't got the comfort of having me.
Maybe that's the reason why a lot of people don't have good night's sleep the night before, because they do that.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it more like just stay in the same bed together, but in the morning the groom just needs to get out early,
Yeah.
But
get out
then
the way.
also, I've seen it a few times where the couple get ready together in the morning, and I actually love that.
Ryan and Jester did,
I
didn't he?
know.
And it
I
was
feel
boss.
like the morning is such a big part of the wedding day.
It is.
And the lads typically miss out on it, really,
Yeah.
for the most part. Unless you have like a second shooter or they're close by, you miss it. That's
And
crap.
as you've just said then, Beth, it is a big part of the day, and you're not even with your partner on it. And you
I
think
think
to
it'd be
yourself,
nice to have like a little like breakfast together, a little champagne breakfast together.
see, you're making a good start.
And
This is good.
And then obviously go separate ways before you get to the aisle, before you put your outfits on. But like you have a little drink and that together, you get all excited.
Yeah, because it's a superstitious thing that you don't
And
see
you
each
share
other
the
before,
kids
isn't
then,
it?
Can't you?
Yeah.
What's that?
Superstitions don't see the kid.
I said you can share the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't see each other before because it's like bad luck. But who believes in luck? You make your own luck.
Yeah.
Harvey Dent.
I know, yeah. But like
Flip that coin.
America is getting rid of all that type of crap, aren't they? When they're going like, what's that, first look?
Yeah, they do the
Before
first
they
look.
actually go and get
Yeah.
married.
Which I
So
think
they
is good.
see each other in each other's finery, let's just call it that.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I like the idea and elements of surprise. I didn't want to see Becky in the morning because I wanted to see what she looked like. More so the kids didn't want to see what they look like. I wanted to see them.
But you wouldn't at breakfast time. Like
Yeah, you still wouldn't,
even
right.
if she had her hair and makeup done. it's
No.
hopefully- no, but I'm saying even if you've seen her with her hair and makeup done, it will be nothing to when she's
No,
got her dress on.
that's the one bit I disagree with. I think if you're going to go for breakfast, champagne breakfast in the morning, she needs to be like rough as me.
Yeah.
You.
Excuse me, I'm not rough.
No, but I mean, like, you need to be like fresh
No,
faced.
I get
You know
that,
what I
but
mean?
was
Like,
also given the alternative as well.
yeah, fair do. Any other traditions, guys?
What other traditions are there, really?
I think we covered quite a few there.
Taking rings, that's staying. That has to be done.
That's gotta be done,
Vows is legal.
Vows.
So that can't not going anywhere anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, speeches. Speeches
I
are
love
boss.
speeches.
I like a speech.
Yeah.
Dances.
think
I
it's-
love like first dance, father daughter dance.
First
and then
dance is
obviously
100% has to happen, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I know a lot of people have like got rid of it themselves these days, and weddings are changing underneath our feet. But I think that's a personal choice on all traditions. Personally, for me, I quite like the traditions that you know about that are in place. I like them being there. Not for tradition's sake, just because it gives you that structure. And for the photo and video teams involved, it gives you that content. Like, they're the most precious, most intimate times. Because as we know, on a wedding day, there's sometimes quite big gaps where you're not together. So certain traditions make that happen. Like, you can't not be together. So I like traditions for that reason.
Yeah. Well done, guys.
Oh, yeah, surprising myself there.
Things that annoy you at wedding days from our good friend Makeup by Carla Knight. Thanks, Carla.
Shabba. No, listen. Shout out Carla Knight.
Any things that annoy you at weddings?
Kids messing.
Not messing.
No, do you know what annoys me? When it comes to timings, I actually thought about this on the way, when venues make it your fault. And like we said before about, like, if the wedding cars didn't get them to the church on time, even though it's not the wedding car's fault, it's their fault. But like, when a wedding coordinator is usually the worst ones for it. When something's going to a certain when something's just not going to, like, timing's point of view, but it's got nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
And then the wedding venue looks at you like you're to blame.
Yeah.
I hate that. That really annoys me, that.
Yeah.
I think that's why sometimes I like...
They can't blame the couple.
Well, they can't blame the couple and they can't blame themselves, so they're just looking for someone else to blame, and you're the only really other person there. That's why I like, on purposely, always now, if, say, for example, like, the group shots have gone over, so you said, oh yeah, I don't think these are too bothered about group shots, but then, like, their aunties and uncles from, like, wherever come out of the woodwork and start going, oh, can we get one with our Jess, and can we get one with our Chloe, and can we get one with John and Julie, but not with Fred, but then one with Fred, and then, like, it goes out of control. Usually group shots are the things that take you away from the timings.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I try and keep them as condensed as possible. But, like, the venue are always looking at you like, you're going to be done soon. I was like, it's not me. Like, if someone said to me, I don't want any group photos taken whatsoever, sound works for me. It's not me. But when the venue get on your case about timings when it's not you, I hate that.
I think you can tell the difference as well with a venue that's ran properly and then a venue that's not ran properly, because they'll never blame you. I think the good ones won't, because...
And I think they'll also allocate enough time for, if it does go over, that it doesn't seep into.
There you go.
Yeah, so not always the case, but that has happened and it does me head in.
What annoys me...
Go on.
...is when, in the speeches particularly, when people are talking over this. No, when they're on the table, you've got someone stood up speaking, and they're like...
It happens too regular as well, I think. I think it's the height of disrespect.
Yeah.
I think, especially when, like, a father of the bride's talking, for example.
I'm going to interrupt you there. I actually don't think it doesn't matter who is doing the speech. I know what you're saying. When it's like an older man, you think, oh, you should be listening. But I think when it's everyone who's doing the speech,
it doesn't matter.
It takes a lot to get up and speak in front of everybody. And I think the least they deserve is for you just to listen. And from our point of view, as, like, the suppliers who are working it, we're stood there witnessing it, and I literally cringe.
I feel like telling them to shut up.
I like, look.
But you can't like tell them off, can you? Because it's got nothing to do with you. But no, I hate that. But that's a very good point. That.
I think there's probably photographers and videographers out there who would turn around and make, listen, shut up.
Yeah. You reckon the audio?
Yeah. Because it is. When you think back, and that
it was an impact.
It is, and I think it can put off the people who are doing the speech as well. So yeah,
it is very disrespectful. So if anyone who ever thinks about talking at a wedding, if you're listening to this and I'm there, don't, because I'll give you the eye like that.
Yeah, and we've all been there. We've all been a guest at a wedding, and I've done a speech at a wedding. You've done a speech at a wedding. It's obviously your speech was very intimate, but mine was at West Tower. I can envision being there because we shoot there quite a lot. Shout out West Tower, yeah, I'll mention
every single show, by the way.
Every single episode. But I remember being there, and the one feedback that I got, which was from our Luke, he turned around to me and was like, "You were shouting." And I was like, but I felt like I had to get me put. I felt like that was my nerves obviously playing through it. I felt like I had to shout down the mic to get me point across. Not my point across, but do my speech.
Because I feel like you get hecklers, and I feel like a heckle is fine, but
they're welcome.
Don't take it too far. Yeah. Like, rein it in after the heckle. Do you know what I mean?
I'm still trying to think of my thing that annoys me, and I'm gonna say it's when a guest tells you how to do your job.
Right, I actually thought about this on the way in, and you know what? The funniest part is most of the time the guest in question are usually someone quite prominent and important.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got no problem with taking like
Oh yeah,
what do you think? Because most of the time you'll know your couple.
Definitely.
The people at the wedding will know the couple more than you ever will. So if they're making suggestions like, I think she should get one here, Jenny or whatever the name is, because this would be lovely. But if someone's going, are you going to take some pictures of the dress soon? It's like, of fucking course I'm going to take pictures of the dress. Stupid thing to say.
No,
Now get your gloves off and just let me handle it myself, please.
White gloves. No, but I think the same. It's when you come over to you and they're like, John round the corner is playing with the baby, the blonde bubbles, go round and capture it. And you're like, by the way, I have actually got it. Because that's my job. I'm constantly looking for them moments. I've already captured it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it's not like, don't tell me what to do. It's like, I'm actually that aware that I've already got that.
But,
like,
and it sounds like I'm being a bit of a bitch, yeah, but how I put it is when that person's already...
Did you switch to you or Beth then?
Not to me.
Okay.
Yeah. See how he's telling me how to do my job?
No, I didn't see you press the button to go to her, and I didn't see you press the button to go back. That's
do you know
all.
what? I've only just pressed it back to you then. So cheeky.
It was the first time I've looked at it in over an hour, so
I was going to say, on the matter...
great timing.
I know, great timing. I was going to say, on the matter, is when the person says it like 3 to 4 or 5 times, when it starts getting a bit like...
It depends how they say it.
But I think the longer it goes on and the more they've had a drink, let's say, they can speak to you a little bit like, with not much respect.
Condescending.
A little bit. Being like, you're the videographer, just get over there and do that for me, because I've told you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you work for them. But
I know exactly what you mean.
When the couple have booked you to be a very natural and relaxed, candid shooting anyway, it makes it more difficult for us to be that way. But anyway, not to go on and talk about things that bother me. Blah, blah, blah. I think we've got one more question, guys. Okay, let's have a little look. No one sent in stories, by the way. I'm quite disappointed in you because it took me a while doing that video.
And it was really good as well.
Thanks. It took me a while doing that. But our good friend Sarah, the paper doll, we love you.
With it.
So here's one for you. I know we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, right? You know the way
It's not like us.
I know, but you know when you do a love heart, have you noticed people?
Yeah, like,
people are doing it differently now, aren't they?
Like, is it like?
Yeah.
The middle
Have you
finger?
noticed it?
Can you do it? I can't do it because I've got.
Right there. No, I can't.
No, it's like it's
this.
the middle finger spent.
That's it. Ryan's doing it.
What do you go? What's that like?
No.
Is that like a thing where you stick the tongue out?
Do you know what the funniest part is as well? When you do that.
That's the way you do it, isn't it?
That is the way you do it. But when you think about it, really, it looks good to me because it looks like a heart to me. What does that look like to you? Does that look like a heart to you?
Yeah,
Because my fingers is different. Do you know
I know, but it represents a heart still to me.
Yeah.
But that's coming in. That people are changing the way they do love hearts.
I've seen people do that as well.
Seen that one?
Yeah. So like you probably switch to that. So they'll do like that.
Or like together.
Like together. Yeah.
Like guys, feel a bit left out here.
Yeah.
Now I'm guessing. I've seen this baby one here.
Here you go, son.
One camera. Hey. Have you seen this one? That's one, isn't it?
What's that? What are you doing?
The little heart.
It's like you're holding.
The little heart. The paper's all sent in a question. And she's put in Vicky Patterson's wedding. God, the show hinted. The show hinted the flower bill alone was 30k.
It was more.
And she thinks more.
It was well more.
Yeah, I think it was well more.
How do you know?
Did you watch it?
I've watched some of it.
So
I do really want to watch all of it.
Yeah,
though.
wait there. Becky was watching it.
Of course, yes.
And I did catch it. And I remember.
Why did you lie?
No, but we were going to talk about it last time, wasn't it? Because it was on after maths. It was.
You should watch it.
Okay.
And I was watching it and I was like, because we'd already spoke about it, so I was looking out for things. I was actually trying to get a bit of research done. So I'm looking at it and then she's using all these different people and she goes to the woman who does the flowers, doesn't she? And she says there's like, what was it, like 250 stems or something stems. Yeah. And I was thinking about it, I was thinking they're real flowers and they're going to get taken across to, because it was more the one across in Italy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I was thinking the cost just to get them there would like be stupid and to keep them fresh and all that. So yeah, well more than that, 30 grand. But it was all coming to a point of this thing that she said, which I think is probably a real life thing, but no one really says it out loud, which is the fuck it button, is it?
You're going to say that, yeah. It's so true. Vicky Patterson.
So Vicky, they're in this, I think I actually remember the actual scene. They're in this woman's house. By the way, that woman's house.
We were watching it. It was just on in the background.
The florist, right? That woman must be
she had like her house, but then she had like another house.
Yeah, she basically had like a house in the garden that was like a wedding
Which had like a
shop.
table laid out, which was the table set for how it would be on their wedding day to show them.
That's so clever, that, isn't it?
It was
so
incredible.
clever.
But she was talking to her about it, and what's the fella's name?
Aircon.
Yeah, actually, it's true, yeah. So they were talking together about it, and she was like, I just hit the fuck it button now. And I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then she explained that there comes a point where like everyone has a budget in mind, and it gets to the point where it's like, oh fuck it, like you might as well just do it now, we've got this far.
Yeah,
like, and I think everyone gets there. And she was saying, I've already hit mine a while ago. And was saying to this aircon, you'll get there. Like, and he said it himself.
George, that way.
I know, yeah.
There, like,
but he said it a little bit later in as well. He went, I think I've reached it now as well. Like, just fuck it. Like, just throw everything at it.
Yeah, because he thought paying for the wedding.
She sugarcoated the budget of the flowers, and she was like, massive. Yeah, like, let's just not tell him how much it actually is. And then obviously he was just like, oh yeah, whatever, like, money and all.
The wedding looked boss though. I didn't see the one that was, because they had more than one, didn't he?
They had a home one.
Because we said that last time, didn't we, about like, did she have more than one?
So she had a registry office in London, didn't she, before?
Doing like a bit of a Jamie Lang.
But then I feel like, wasn't the wedding reception in a house in like the back garden?
Newcastle, like? Back in Newcastle.
So I'm sure I've heard her say, like, people would ask me, like, oh, where's the toilet roll? And I'm thinking, like, F off, I'm the bride. Like, don't ask me that without a toilet roll. Like, I don't care. I'm sure it was in a house.
Someone asked her.
Well, because it was in a house, like, the after party, like, oh, Vicky, you've got no toilet paper left. Like, where is it? And she's like...
Spent all the money on the flowers, girl.
I mean, I could be making that up, but I've definitely heard it. Whether... Didn't she have, like, Greg's? Something with Greg's as well?
Did she? I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole programme.
Oh, so here like canapes with sausage rolls? That's so clever, that, you know.
I'm sure it was. Definitely seen it somewhere.
I wish it was on my research.
I've only seen like little bits of the show, but I'm sure I've
That's
seen
like the most Georgiest thing, that though, like your canapes being Greg's.
With the wedding abroad looked incredible.
No, she did look gorgeous.
She looked... I don't normally find her attractive. I don't. Not for any particular reason. I just feel like the whole mouth situation... Well, apart from that. but like the whole mouth thing kind of just puts me off a little bit. I know she's got issues and whatever, I don't care. But what I'm saying is, on that wedding day...
I hope she does not listen to this podcast.
Listen to this fucking podcast as if... She looked incredible. Incredible.
Very, very classy.
Yeah, Khan must have been like that.
I actually knocked the camera off your face then when you did that, so I'm quite glad I did. The sound effects would be worse as it is, enough. Yeah. But yeah, that's all our questions and that have been sent in for today. Does anybody want to add anything before we wrap up the episode? Very formal, this, isn't it?
I know, I don't feel like I've laughed all that much this time.
Because I'm talking.
That was a laugh.
Yeah.
No,
I think if anyone's brought a laugh, it's been me, hasn't it, really?
That would be, wouldn't it?
Well, next time, bring your own prep.
Good job, you're here.
The prep I brought was good, wasn't it?
It's good job, you're here. All I'm going to say is, we are talking about like timings and stuff like that. We do want to get these out more regular than we are.
Yeah,
but the reality is the pair of us, or all three of us, are coming off a very busy summer. So if you just bear with.
We're nearly there.
You're doing really well on your edits at the moment, aren't you?
Yes.
And like obviously, all the kids are getting mines and all that these days, so we're all sound. So we'll come back to the regular every other week or whatever it was that we said we were going to do. But it's just a little thanks just for sticking with us. Because I've probably lost a few people there. In the trenches.
I must admit though, Abby's analytics look great on her podcast. I know Abby's got a big audience, so she's probably brought them listeners in with her. But I do feel like hopefully we can keep hold of new listeners, and we're constantly wanting feedback, aren't we? We're constantly wanting people to let us know what they enjoy listening to, because we want to talk about it more. I genuinely think we should have a bride on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Bride to be or bride that we've already done?
I think a bride that's already been married. Just to give us a bit of like a context on it. Yeah, and talk about their wedding. Just to tell people who are listening, like, what goes into a wedding. Like, budgets and stuff like that. Because I think budget, I know we touched on it then with Vicky Patson's flower bill and all that, but I think for a lot of our listeners, I know she didn't have a budget, like, but what I'm saying is like, I think a lot of couples who are getting into planning a wedding don't actually understand what actually goes into it, and it's a very overwhelming process. So I think it's been nice to have someone who's done it all, who can give their advice. Because we're giving advice from like a supplier's point of view. Even though Rye's being married, you're a supplier first, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I think you're never really going to give
second.
people third. But I think you are just coming from a business point of view and giving you advice on that side of it. But I think sometimes it's nice to hear from the bride and what they enjoyed and what they didn't enjoy.
The real people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
20 brides.
I think we put it out there. I think we actually put it out there and say,
Who wants to come on?
what bride is confident enough to come into this space and talk about it? Because it is a bit of it.
Honestly.
I've got a few past them in my head, so we can.
Oh, one of our brides.
Mm-hmm.
Who? Go on.
Say it on here.
Go on. I'll put it on my face now. It's on my face. Just mime it to me. Do that again.
The one that we talking about you. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, you're saying.
I'm saying a maiden name.
I know.
What's the matter? Oh.
Tambourine Brown.
Hang on. I don't even think I've been in focus this whole time. It's on my mic.
Anyway, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. We'll talk about it next time.
But yeah, thanks again for listening. And hopefully you enjoyed it.
Peace.
They're giving it the love hearts, both of them.
They're giving it the love
broken.
hearts.
Thank you again, and we are. Why is your heart broken?
Because I can't get
Just waiting for that ring. Good. See ya.
Bye. Bye.